Welcome to season 2 of the Let Me Be Honest podcast with me, Soraya. Y'all, I know it's been a while and I apologize. I really do. But we are back. We are back and we are better. New setup, new guests. We'll get to you in a second. But I am just so excited to be back. And I think this is just going to be a great season filled with just really good conversations and just, we're living for our 20s and we are going to thrive in our 20s. And I am just, really excited to get back into it. We have a special guest today. This girl, she has been my friend since freshman year of college. We are basically sisters. Yep. And I'm so excited to have you on this podcast. Everybody welcome Angela. Woo! Angela, how are you?
Good. I'm doing so good. I am so happy. I'm so honored and happy to be on this podcast with my girl. I'm so proud of her. I just want to make that disclaimer first that I'm just so proud of Soraya. And just thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So proud of her. She's
I appreciate
this vulnerability in her podcast and just doing her and just being vulnerable and being herself. Like there's no filter, there's no edit in this, and that you can't get that everywhere. You cannot get the ums and the pauses and just speaking in the way that you speak and the verbiage, which is awesome. So
I appreciate that. Yeah. Angela is also a fellow content creator.
Started out.
Yes. Tell us about what you do, your business, how we can reach you.
Yeah. So again, my name's Angela Guerrero. Soon to be Rosales. She's engaged. Just got engaged. So that's one thing. I just got engaged, so I'm in. Like I said, every time
it's huge.
It's huge. It's super emotional for me every time because just God's glory and mercy and my testimony and just thinking about family and generational curses being broken in His name and just so many things beyond that and behind that. So yes, so super excited about that. I graduated as well from Winthrop University. Like I said, we knew each other from college. I just started a business in July called We Keep Blooming. That's my business, We Keep Blooming. And website, all those things are soon to come in the future. And right now it's just nice and intimate. You can reach me or find me at Angela Guerrero with 2 O's on Instagram to direct message me to find more information about We Keep Blooming. But it's a life coaching business / group sessions, which I say my group sessions are not life coaching, okay? I'm a motivator, facilitator, and I use life coaching tools in my group session, okay? And then life coaching specifically for individuals. So if you are interested, again, Angela Guerrero with 2 O's to find me. I'm a writer. I will be having a book published hopefully by this year. So I'm super excited about that. It's been a project that I've been working on. The illustrator's been working on it, and so can't wait for that. What else? A creator, a vlogger. What else? I think that might be it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, she definitely has a lot of things.
A lot of things going on all the time.
It's going to be just such a bright future. I cannot wait to see how you flourish and your business flourishes. So I'm very excited. And I'm so excited to, use my platform to help and just spread your name because you really got some good stuff, y'all. So just, definitely reach out. Everything will be linked below.
Yes.
But I'm super excited. We're going to have some really good conversations. I wanted to bring the new year in, kind of just talking about how to be a woman, if that makes sense. Like, what does it mean to be a woman? And how can we be women in 2024? What does that look like, And so as a Christian, as someone who does practice faith, like the chapter that comes to mind, it's Proverbs 34, not 34, Proverbs 31. And I just wanted to kind of read the scripture and talk about it with Angela. And I don't know, kind of figure out how we can use that scripture to kind of apply it to our lives as, women. And see, what we can talk about, you know what I'm saying? And even though this is about Proverbs 31 and it kind of applies to women, I think it's also good for men to hear this as well, just so that we can know like what it looks like to like have a good woman in your life, like how we can benefit each other as men and women, and how we don't need to always be on opposite sides of the spectrum. Absolutely. And always have to be fighting each other, like that we are meant, to create together, to build together, and how we can, thrive in that,
Absolutely.
So, do you want to read a couple scriptures in the chapter?
Yeah. So it is Proverbs 31:10 is where the wife starts. And not that I didn't know, but right before is where it talks about men, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. Like if you kind of piggyback and forth, like a man could read that and take their take, and then the women could look at that. So it's pretty cool. So it says the wife of noble character. A wife of noble character. So I'm an NIV version, okay? And that's why I have my phone, y'all. I do have my physical Bible, but that's why I'm in my phone, okay? So a wife of noble character who can find... Okay, hold on. Let me read that again. The wife of noble character, Proverbs 31. A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies.
Just pause. Just that verse alone. Like, she is far more... I have the Christian Standard Bible.
Okay.
But she is far more precious than jewels. I just want to pause there. Just real quick. Because I don't think women understand how valuable we are, really. Like, we are more precious than jewels, And we got to be taken as such. We are the prize, We are, we really could be unstoppable, for real. Like, we are precious. We are valuable. We are priceless. And so I think not even just for... Just once you kind of like take just that statement, apply it to your life, apply it to your value, like you just carry this confidence that really can be like people notice it, like you just have this aura, this energy, and people notice it, and it also like once you realize how valuable and you become confident in that, you also are able to see other people in your life and see if they are valuable for you or not, you can really see, okay, they are not for me, or they're not going to take me serious like the jewel I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I honestly rereading that part again because I honestly want to go and dissect it line by line, especially about to go into a different season 2, but in general, line by line, because it's not... And disclaimer too, like this doesn't just apply to wife, right? Because like you probably heard the wife part and you're staying on that. Like it's not just about a wife, it's about being, like we said from the beginning, a Proverbs 31 woman, right? What does that look like to be a woman? To be a woman of confidence, godly confidence. Like I love hearing the word God confident, God confident woman. And wife of noble character. So I was looking at women. I'm sorry, I'm about to come for you guys for a little bit because we need to learn that for us to be this, what does it mean to be noble? We need to check ourselves and check if we're a noble woman, right? Because a lot of times we have that confidence, we have to be refined, right? A jewel, it says that a diamond, right? If you want to be like a diamond, you have to be refined. A diamond goes into heat. A diamond goes into pressure.
Yeah.
So we are far more than rubies because we've been under that pressure and we get to be under that pressure. Pressure is good. Pressure is great because it creates the woman that we need to be, right? So when I was looking at that, I said, a wife of a noble character who can find. So we need to know what that means to be noble, right? That is empowering in itself because we get to find that in God, and then we get to be noble. Like, this is already moving from who we are, right? This is already from a place of value. So if we are noble, then the person who finds us gets to reap that benefit. But we have to know what it means.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
It's
like,
good,
it's important to define what those things are, because there's a difference between knowing your confidence and walking in your confidence.
I agree.
Right? Walking in your value.
Yeah, that's really good. And I like what you said when you're talking about, like, again, I'm not talking about a wife. I'm talking about what it means to be a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't be I don't want to say a good wife, but like, in order for you to be the best version of yourself, like you're going to have to know yourself individually first, you know, what it means, like, to be you, and how God can use you as in your singleness or just through your valleys and hills that you go through as a person, and how that makes you stronger and how that makes you wise. You know what I'm saying? So I really do. I just really like.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I haven't even read this like in a minute, and just like that first thing, I was like, wow, that's really
far
good.
more than rubies.
Yeah,
rubies. And can I just say like this fun little tidbit? So probably like 3 years ago during COVID, I remember I was like doing my quiet time, spending time with the Lord. And I remember him like giving me a vision of like me being like, I was just like, I wanted to hear again, like, that's why I'm going to say it like that. I wanted to hear again how much I'm worthy to him, how much I value. And the Lord will tell you, he's not afraid to tell you how many times you are his precious jewel, right? Yeah. And so I was thinking about it, and he's like, well, think about it. You don't want to be easy for anyone to find. Because if you were easy, you would just be like these rocks that are at the top, right? But if you're not an easy find, guess what?
Yeah.
You have to dig. People have to dig to find you. So you want someone who's going to have to dig and be like, oh, look what I found under the rough. Look what I found under that like dirt and the dust was that ruby and that diamond. So he was telling me and telling us that that's what we are. We want to be down there. We want someone to have to go in the gravel and dig and be like, not that they have to dig to find if you're a good person. That's not what I'm saying. To find if you are a jewel, because
effort.
Right? Yeah, you don't want someone to find you and then you be like, oh, she's just dust. Right. Never mind. She really not a jewel, right? But it means to get you right. That chase of there I am. That finding that treasure of there I am under all that rubble. You know. So I just thought that was good.
That's real good. You want me to go, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will not lack anything good.
Can we pause there? No, because I was reading that again. And it says like your husband, right? Okay, so when like if you are trying to go into that space, right, of being with someone, like he has full confidence in you. So that means that when your person, your man, right? Even your people, like if you want to go in a broader spectrum, people need to know that they can have full confidence in you because of your character. Yeah. Not because of anything else, but your character. And I was like, and lacks nothing of value. Like we lack nothing already because who we are in the Lord, but we lack nothing of value. That means we have all the value we need. And what I don't mean by like the value that you're worthy, because that means the lack nothing part, but I mean the value of what you're bringing. So as he's shaping you and forming you, right? If you go back again to the concept, if you are trying to date intentionally, if you are trying to become a wife of noble character, right? You're not going to lack nothing for that husband. Like you're not going to not have that value or whatever he needs for that specific person, because we all are different. We all have different relationships, right? Whatever value, that's what you're going to bring.
It's so good. I really do like that. And even just to bring it back to like what a woman should be, or we think, like I do think that a woman, like just her mindset, just the way that she is, there's the way that we are. Like, it really is a powerful thing. And we are an asset. Like, we are an asset. We are a necessity, definitely. And that we bring a lot to anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is some, like, we can bring so much. And I don't want to say bring to the table, because that just has so much, like, just a negative, like, just concept to it. But just, I don't know, like, we have a lot to offer just because of who we are and how we can use that like, again, it literally says the heart of her husband, trust her. Like, trust is like, we oh my gosh, just like in 2023, I don't want to bring this to 2024. Like, we should be able to trust our partners. You know, we should be able to trust ourselves. We should be able to trust the people that are in our lives. That's why they're in our lives. If we can't trust you, then why are you in my life? Yeah. And there's so many times in so many scenarios that I've seen of just people not being able to trust people. You know, and I understand why. And I've also been someone who has hard time trusting people as well, because it's hard, because people are not perfect and people will hurt you. That's just the fact. And so I think that when it comes to, I guess, a space of partnership between, you know, a man and a woman, like, that is a significant thing that needs to be in that relationship is trust. Or else it's just going to fall apart. You know, there's just going to be just conversations that doesn't need to happen, because there should be trust that replaces that, if that makes sense. So I definitely think that is something that we all should be acknowledging, is what can we do as people to trust people, and who we cannot trust. And if we cannot trust them, why are they still in our lives?
That's good. Drop the mic.
But that's on that.
Drop the mic. That's good.
Anyways.
She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Okay, listen. Girls, ladies, women, I'm coming for y'all again. I'm sorry. Because I was thinking about that. Like, we cannot be yelling at our man and yelling at these men in general. Like, just being like, you're not this, you're not this. Like, hold on. Give each individual man their space. You talk about, like, us being able to co-create, right? Us being able to come together and be in the spaces together. Bring them good, okay? No one wants to be with someone who's always down their throat and always like, you see, that's why you did it again. Let me count your flaws. Let me see why you're not doing this. Like, they have pressure and so do we. So how can we co-create if we're always bringing harm? Is negativity, because there's life and death in your tongue. So as women, we need to, I know we're like, we have a lot of pressure too, right? To be that soft thing, to be that peace to the man, but, or not even to a man, but to the people around us. So in general, right? If you want to apply it in that aspect, how we are, you need to bring life to the spaces you're in. If you're always nagging someone, or you always try to find a flaw in something, that's not bringing life. That's not life at all. Because at the end of the day, God loves us in our masterpiece, and what are we? We're masterpieces of imperfection. We're still masterpieces to Him. So we have to make sure that we are not conflicting that harm.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that the main issue between two individuals is just that it's really hard to have genuine conversations with people anymore. There's a lot of offense that happens. There's a lot of putting down people that happens. There's a lot of pride and just insecurity that comes in those conversations. And then just things are just taken out of context. Things are just made, or just escalated like to more than what they should be. And I think that's another thing that, you know, as women, that we could do. And again, I'm just like, obviously, like, men, this is why I said men, y'all need to watch this as well, because there needs to be conversations that happen as well with that. But as a woman, I'm speaking from my experience, like, being able to have intellectual conversations and deepening conversations that are not just putting somebody down can really change the dynamic between a relationship. Like they like just being able to, if there is a conflict, coming together and instead of just, you know, pointing fingers and doing all this, like having a good conversation and working through that. And it's only going to make you stronger at the end of the day, you know? So I definitely agree that like just conversating is just not it right now. It needs to get back.
And let's have the hard conversations. Like I love that concept. Now think about like, have hard conversations, guys. Let someone critique you. On one side, you want to talk about like the business. Okay, you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to step into your entrepreneur era, right, women? You want to do your thing. You want to be a boss lady. Be okay with hard conversations, because guess what? It's making you so much stronger. It's building you. Even if everything that person said was negative, because this is the thing. Even if everything was negative, you don't have to view it that way. And that's the difference between you reacting to a conversation that would have been hard and you having a conversation that's hard, right? Those are two different concepts. You have to be able to understand that if I have this negative conversation or it's negative on your side, I can take it and use it as positive and light and say, you know what, maybe I do need to work on this, that. But your words are also not going to be the light of how I decide to live my life either. And that's important.
And that's even where, like, even going back 2 verses to the confidence thing. If you are confident in yourself and who you are, you're confident in your values, it's going to be so much more difficult for negative words coming at you to let them like it actually going to affect you. It's not going to affect you because you know who you are, you're confident in you are, so you're able to listen to them, take what they're saying and be able to have a conversation without it escalating into where you're taking it personal, you know? So I definitely,
and that's a hard thing.
It
really is.
I'm still working on
it. Like we're human, you know? So it's just know you still like, but the more it's like, the thing is, we as human beings expect, oh, let me have a conversation and you shouldn't take it personal right there and then. Or let's have a conversation and you shouldn't have this affect you. Like, the only way for us to get through and work on being more confident, work on not taking it personal, work on all these things and work through the battles that we're facing is by challenging the hard things, is by going through the hard things. So if you never have a conversation with someone something that you're nervous about, something that you're fearful about, how are you supposed to get through it? You got to walk through that storm.
I agree.
You have to.
I agree. I definitely think it's hard for sure, but each season
it's refining you.
I'm about to say each season is for a reason. You're going to go through hardships and that's only going to make you stronger. So I definitely think that it shouldn't be avoided. It should just be taken, you know, which is hard because
it's not easy. It's not easy, y'all. It's not. They're saying this from experience.
Life be life.
It's not easy.
And especially living in your 20s, you know, that's exactly why, you know, we have conversations like this because we were never like, not that we were never prepared, but we didn't really, like, we did not think that our 20s would be as like transformative as it is. Like it really is, like you're finding yourself in your 20s. Like you're experiencing life firsthand and all the bad and all the good at one time. And it only gets more challenging from there. And so I think that if we're able to get the tools now in our 20s, then we can be able, whenever things do come, that we can take it more lightly, if that makes sense.
You can tackle it a lot better, right? You can be more emotionally aware, more emotionally intelligent, right? Because emotional intelligence doesn't mean you don't have emotions. That's not what that means. Emotionally intelligent is knowing when to speak, when not to speak, knowing when to be frustrated about a situation and when to let it go, right? It's having that awareness and that discernment to know how to decipher through things, right? Because when you're wise, you don't do things as fools, right? When you're wise, you say, let me take a second and let me see how I need to react to that. And as women, sometimes we feel like we should be able to react right away. I have this emotion, let me tell you. That's not communication. That's conversation. There is a difference between conversation and communication, you know?
That's good.
So
I like that. I really do. Okay, we should probably get through a couple verses.
Yes, I know we're already on top with the Bible, y'all. So much. She brings him good.
Yeah, she selects wool and flax and works with willing hands. She's like a merchant ship, bringing her food from far away. She rises while it's still night and provides food for her household and portions for her female servants. That's crazy. Not really. I will say that is something that I'm still working on. Like, just the part of I don't, not that you can take it literally. You can. But I do think there's a deeper meaning to that verse of rising. I think it's more of discipline, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Being able to get up. Just getting up at 5 a.m. That's something that I've been trying to challenge myself. That's just like a discipline and a practice that's difficult. And so being able to do that, like, willingly and mastering that not only allows you to, again, be more productive with your day, but it just makes you a more disciplined person. And that's what I want to be more of in 2024, is more disciplined. And I think that just waking up early in the morning, that's something that I'm trying. I really, really am. I know. So
no, I totally agree. Like, rereading this chapter, I was like, this is a woman of discipline.
Yeah.
This is a woman of discipline. Like, you don't, because there's a type of awareness that starts to get awakened in you when you're like, okay, I'm going to do the hard things, right? Because then there's going to be a husband that comes. Then there's going to be the kids that come. And guess what? You can't be like, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you right now at 6 o'clock. I don't want to cook right now at 10 o'clock. I don't want to do this at this time. Like, there's a certain point where you're not going to be able to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And so you learn the hard things. Now, when the extra things start to come on your plate, if the extra things are already on your plate, say, you know what? One, change your verbiage. I get to do this, right?
That's true.
Two, I'm given this opportunity and space to be able to do it. And three, I love it. Because a lot of times, like, the gym, right? Like, we love working out. And, like, we do little check-ins with our girls. Like, we love working out. So it's like, I'm going to create space for something I love to do, right? Because at the end of the day, we're creating space for things we don't like to do. Yeah. And we still do it. Yeah. But then we create space for things we love. We're like, whatever, you know? Yeah. But I looked at that, too, and she wakes up still at night, and I think about that because she's waking up at 5 and I'm waking up like early too, like at 4 a.m. Get to the gym at 5, and she's waking up at 5 and we're doing our things, we're getting where we need to get to, right? Yeah. And it's like she provides food, and I love that it's talked about provider, because you don't see a lot of times people talking about women being provider. And it's like, guess what? She provides food. So the man, I was like writing this when I was reading it, and I'm like, so the man is the fetcher, right? And the woman is like, she's the chef, she's the maker, she's the one forming, right? Like what they're fetching, right? You know? Yeah, that's a good and so like he's fetching, and then you're doing like the mending and the making, right? It's like someone making bread in the yeast, right? It takes a while to mold it. And so, but she's still a provider in some way. And I thought that was so beautiful, because we always talk about men being providers, but women are providers too. Yeah.
And I think that's just, it's so important. I want to be clear when I mean, like, not saying, you know, women should be in the kitchen and do like that. Is not what I'm saying. But we're saying that, like, there are the role of a man and a woman when brought together can really be a beautiful thing, for real. Like, if both men and women provide in a different way in order to make something great. You know, that's why you hear, it needs a woman's touch. You know what I'm saying? Because we really do make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I again, like, it's a partnership. It's something that you know, when handled correctly, when we both realize both of our full potentials, like we're unstoppable together. Yeah. You know? So yeah.
And the enemy is scared. Yeah. The enemy fears and is frustrated by what women and men can do together. When we come together and we co-create and we use the opportunity that we were given, right? And like, yes, being fruitful and multiply. Okay, I'm going back. Being fruitful and multiply is talking about one specific part. But if you even generalize that, right? Be fruitful and multiply. Multiply what you have. Because a lot of times we're like, oh, be fruitful. I have to be fruitful and multiply once I have the husband. I have to be fruitful and multiply once I have this. No, be fruitful and multiply with your business. Yep. Be fruitful and multiply with your finances, with your platform, with the things you've been given. Be fruitful and multiply with the people who are in your circle and your space. Yep. Right? Like, be fruitful and multiply with your home. Like, all those things are applicable because he doesn't want us to just be in a space of being frugal. We're not frugal in his presence. We have a spirit of excellence in his presence with the Holy Spirit, okay? Like, without him, all right? But with the Holy Spirit, we have an opportunity to allow excellence to flow through us with him, right? It's a partnership. Everything's a partnership. It's been a partnership from the beginning.
Yeah. I like that.
That's tangent, but
that's really good. And I really hope y'all are hearing us because I'm like, I really am not trying to, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to get into stereotypes or anything like that. It's not about the stereotypes. It's literally just about like
walking in your fullness.
Yeah. Walking in our fullness as a man and as a woman, you know?
So, like, what's wrong with knowing how to walk in your fullness? Like, when you think about it, like, when you get to walk in your fullness, why you're gonna be filled.
Yeah, I agree. You just have to think of the bigger picture at the end of the day. You really, like, it's not.
Don't throw tomatoes at us.
Anyways,
don't throw it.
She evaluates a field and buys it. I think of a woman who is patient. Like, that is another thing that I'm working on for 2024 is being patient. Because I love to shop. Like, even today at Target, I really shouldn't have bought anything. But I saw these sweatpants.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and I just couldn't. I'm very impulsive when it comes to buying clothes. But a woman who is patient and thinks before she makes any type of decision, like, I think that's just such a powerful thing, you know? Yeah. And you're able to see things that people who are rushing aren't able to see. And then you're just able to do so much more with that information that you have. And that's another thing too, just like
she's dropping the mic.
I'm sorry.
No, you're dropping.
Like, we have a different eye. You know, we have a different eye for things that we were able to be like, oh my gosh. There's this other podcast that I listen to, and it's called the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Okay. You should listen to it for real. And this man, he brings a bunch of like people who are in relationships, and they talk, and they're older, so they have a lot of wisdom. Okay. And one was talking about how this marriage, and how he was like an investor, and so whenever he sees an opportunity, he does it. This is the guy, but he always evaluates the situation with his wife. And he said there's countless amounts of times where like he'll bring a business plan to his wife, and his wife is like, no. And then later on, and every time he did not listen to her, he regretted the purchase. Wow. So you really do, like, once you listen and like actually can master like that patient eye, you're gonna do good. You're gonna be real good.
That's so, like, I look at him. That's so good. Yeah, it's so good. I even saw like an image like of like a slow mo. Like, you kind of press pause, and like if you see like those videos where like people are going really fast. Like, there's like thousands of people around them, right, and the person's in the middle, and there's just thousands of people going around, right, but they're going slow motion. If I press the click to go slow motion, I'm literally going to see everything around me. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to allow yourself to be in slow motion. And in a world where we're so busy and we're not still, that's insane, because you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna see a lot of things that you don't see. And God is a God of stillness. Yeah. He's a God of whisper. He wants to speak to us. He wants to speak to us in the opposite of how the world speaks to us, right? Yeah. So everyone's not patient. So how's he gonna speak to us in patience? Like it's just insane, because I was dissecting it the other day, but I did not see it like that, and I love that. That's why you read people. I love that. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. I had to read that slow, because when you're a Proverbs 31 woman, your light doesn't go out, you know? And there's something about that, because I can tell you in seasons where I've been super weary and super tired, like, and I'm okay with it. And why I say that is because God meets us in our meekness. And even if you don't feel that drain, you don't always have to meet God when you're tired. Okay, can I say that? Like sometimes we're like, oh well, God's just gonna come when I'm tired. So when I reach when I reach ends meet, then that's when He's gonna meet me. He wants to meet you in your highs and your lows, in your mountains and your valleys, right? Yeah. And so it's just knowing that when you are weak, though, guess what? No one's still shutting that light out. Because I remember I have times where someone come up to me and be like, oh, you know what? You look so great today. Or you're still glowing today. And I'm like, really? Because I just feel like I had 2 hours sleep. Yeah. I feel like I've been going through spiritual warfare. I feel like I've been knocked out of my boots. I'm tired. Like all those things and above. But there's something about the spirit of a calm and gentle spirit and a Proverbs 31 woman, and the strength that comes, and the spirit of the Lord living in you, that it's like that lamp, it says hide it under a bushel. I don't know if you guys know this, like if you know these little songs, but when you were younger, it used to have a little song that says hide it under the bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Your light. You are a house on a hill, right? You are the light of the world. You are the salt in the food. So even if you're tired, there's something about the spirit that lives inside of you that still shines light and still glows. And that is beauty. Because it's like, no, I'm tired. You just said that. But let me tell you, that's not me. And that's where His glory gets to shine. So like your light doesn't go out just because you're tired. So can I encourage you? Your light, and whoever needs to see you, and whatever needs to be done, and whatever needs to happen in your life, your light's not going out. Just continue to humble yourself. Continue to get at your knees. Your light is still there. No one dimmed that. No one took that light out of you. Your situations didn't take that light out of you. Because guess what? You have that spirit in you.
You're noticeable.
Yes.
You're always noticeable.
And whoever needs to notice will. Whoever needs to see it will. Whoever needs to be in your path will. Because guess what? If you're tired that day, and guess what? You ended up praying over somebody. You ended up speaking life just by saying hey over somebody, and you were exhausted, but you planted that mustard seed. We keep blooming. You planted that mustard seed no further. Like we keep blooming for real. And that's why like it speaks truth to life. I was just joking, but anyways, whoever knows me knows me. It's okay. But you plant that mustard seed, and you don't know what that hay did, but that light still exists. Like that light is still there, because a flicker is still a flicker. Guess what? A flame is still a flame, right? The fire doesn't lose its power because it's not flaming. It's not blazing. Is the fire still hot? Is the fire still gonna bring some type of warmth to you? So think about that. If you're a fire, you can have one little flame going. You're not losing your power. You're not losing your heat. You're losing your warmth. But guess what? When that light gets ignited again, whoosh. But a lot of times we feel like we always have to be whoosh on fire, making blaze everywhere, setting the blaze everywhere. We get fresh fire, right? And even at the little flicker, you're still making an impact.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, that's good. I can't say nothing else. Nothing else.
Oh, goodness.
Let's see. She extends her hand to the spinning staff, and her hands hold the spindle. Her hands reach out to the poor, and she extends her hands to the needy. Generous. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I really do want to serve more in 2024. But like, we're called to serve. Yeah. We're called to, nurture. We're called to to love. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta love. You know?
And the poor, again, I always go back to poor in spirit, because sometimes we see poor and we're like, oh, that person over there who doesn't have anything, right? But it's like, we're serving the poor in spirit because we're poor in spirit. You know, like, we're serving one another, right? And we're saying, Holy Spirit, move through me so that I can serve the other person who's poor in spirit. Because I heard someone say the other day, I think it was honestly Joyce Myers, like, I was listening to a little thing, and she was like, well, in our weakness and in I'm not quoting it, right?
This.
In our weakness and even in our tiredness, whatever we're going through, our spiritual warfare or how we're moving, God's still moving through us to help somebody else. So even while we need help, He's still helping somebody else through us. That's the beauty of what He does. He helps people.
I'm about to say,
like, we're not on the mat. Guess what? Someone else is still building their muscle. Right?
I agree. My church, we have this saying that we say every time we close out, is we learn how to love God so that we can love ourselves correctly, so that we can love each other and serve. And that's like, I mean, I guess that's just our purpose in life, is just to love others and just to be a light and just, I don't know, love. I really am like a defender of love. Like, love really can like just do so much, and there's not a lot of it in this world. And so I don't know, whenever I get a chance to talk about that, it's good. You know, it's powerful.
Yeah, she has such a pure heart to love on people, like, to whatever extent that is. Which she just has such a pure heart to love on people.
So do you. Anyways,
we had a moment.
Okay, let's see. She is not afraid of her household when it snows, for all in her household are doubly clothed. Doubly clothed.
And I have a different version.
Oh, okay.
It says, for all of them are clothed in scarlet.
Okay, yeah.
Like, can we just pause there?
Yeah.
Again, going back to the providing, there is some shape or form she's providing. She's making sure that you are clothed, right? And then you're going to see later that there's a part of scripture that talks about being clothed, right? Which I love that part of this verse. But again, another part of providing. I just want to say that. Like, it's just pointing that out.
Yeah. No, I get it.
They're clothed.
Yep. She makes her own bed coverings. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband, purple is royalty, by the way. We are Kuwait. Her husband is known at the city gates, where he sits among the elders of the land. She makes and sells linen garments. She delivers belts to the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. That's good.
Part.
That's really, really good.
And she can laugh at the days. Mine says, as the days to come. What does yours say?
And she can laugh at the time to come.
Yeah. And there's another version too that says she's clothed with strength and dignity. She laughs at the fear. She laughs without fear of the future.
That's good.
And that's actually like a little cover for my Bible. Is she laughs without fear of the future. And I'm like, I love that. Like, you can laugh at fear in its face. That's what a woman does. She laughs at fear in its face and says, oh, you thought you were going to make me scared to the point where I'm not going to try to do something? Yeah, don't worry.
I agree.
I'm going to look at you in the face and say, my God's still bigger.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in this battle. Like, I'm going to use a gym, like the gym example. It's like you lifting. I use this example all the time, but it's like you lifting your you just hit your PR, right? You just hit your personal record. So what that means is you were like, oh, I was trying to get 40 pounds to hit on shoulder press, right? You're doing your 40 pounds. That also applies to real life.
Yeah.
I just hit these 40 pounds in the gym. I'm going to take the strength that I pushed my body to its limits, and I'm going to use that in real life. I'm going to push myself past my limits because I'm capable, because I'm able, because I'm called, right? Like, there's a difference. Like, we are called to push past our limits because it's not our limits anymore, right? Our limitation is where God uses his limitlessness.
And just honestly, just a woman in general, the way we live, you know, our period, you know, our childbirth, our hormones. There's so many bodily functions that
just clothe us.
And they're scary.
Yeah.
They push us to our limits, you know? And we always push through. We always and you know, we take it because we're strong and we are and we honor that and we are clothed in that. Just doing our everyday practices, you know? It's so exciting to think about. I love that.
Dignity. Walk with dignity. Talk about like walking in your worth
for sure.
and knowing your worth. Like when you are clothed in strength, when you're clothed in strength, you know you're more than a conqueror, right? But then the dignity part, you're walking in that value at that point, right? That doesn't matter if it's in a workplace. It doesn't matter where it's at.
Yeah.
You're saying no to things and you're saying yes to things. You're saying, no, I'm not going to take that brand deal just because God told me I don't need to be in this space. But yes, I will take this because this is honoring, you know?
Yeah. So good. Her mouth speaks wisdom and loving instruction is on her tongue. I love that as well.
Life and death.
Just life and death. Just how we speak. Just really, that's all I got to say. It's just speak. Listen to what you're saying. We're almost done. She watches over the activities of her household and is never idle.
Mine's like the idleness.
Oh, okay.
Never eats the bread of idleness.
Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also praises her. Many women have done noble deeds, but you surpass them all. It's a lot of women out here. It's not a lot of Proverbs 31 women out here. Charm is a... Sorry. You can be though.
That's what we're trying to become.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't. I'm not confident. I don't think I'm there yet, but I'm trying to be. Charm is deceptive and the beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord will be praised. I love that verse.
Yes.
It's just great. And the last one is give her the reward of her labor and let her work praise her at the city gates. Go ahead.
Worry about the makeup in here and then worry about the makeup out here. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Like, use your makeup in your artwork that you have and use it in your heart. And then worry about the outside. Because beauty is fleeting, like they said, right? You get so... As women, there's a pressure to look this way, to this way. Honestly, I'd rather have no nails on. Like, this is just for me. No nails on. My bags under my eyes, but knowing that I fought that spiritual warfare, knowing that God's got me, knowing that rent's gonna be paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just like beauty is fleeting. Like, if I'm not paying as much money to work on my spirit as I'm paying money to work on my external factors in my life, that's an issue, right? If I'm not trying to invest, if I'm not making an extra 20-minute drive to go get a friend that I need to fill me up, right? Or the word, right? Or investing if I need a Bible, or if I need to get my phone fixed so I can get my Bible and my Bible, whatever you need to do. I don't know, whatever your situation is. But if I'm not investing the money, if God said, hey, I need you to get this, and that to be in this space so that you can have beauty in here and that it's that glow, you better invest in that spiritual beauty. Like, I'm not saying that the things on the outside are not, because you should still carry yourself well and still dress nice and all those things. But we got to invest some more money in our internal and our spiritual. We have to invest more.
Yeah. I always say that, like, there's some beautiful people out here, but there's also some beautiful people with some real sour attitudes. Yeah. Men and women.
And then it doesn't make you beautiful anymore.
Yeah. And again, looks fade, you know? Like, the heart is always, like, your heart posture always is seen, you know? So what do you, like, how do you want to
How do people see you? How do people see your heart?
Exactly.
How do people see your heart as external?
That's really what people should care about, right? You know? Like,
yeah, people look at the outside, but God looks at the heart.
Yeah.
Right? God looks at the heart. So he's like, yes, guess what? And the person you think's unqualified, oh, that woman's not dressed like me. Like, let's not compare and downplay other women. Can we just talk about, like, let's not downplay other women. We're not bringing Proverbs 31 women if we're not using our words to other women to uplift them in wisdom too. Yeah. Right? It's like, don't be like, oh, she's not worthy. You see those? Do you see that clothes she's wearing? She is not worthy.
And even just going back to relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all look good together. Right. Y'all do. Right. But what's going on after you turn that camera off? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's something that I refuse to have. Yeah. Is someone that we look good together, but you turn that camera off and it's a whole different side of each other. You know? I just can't. And I think that's being normalized, and I just want to cut it right then and there. Yeah. Like it's that's only going to cause stress. Yeah. And stress comes wrinkles, and you don't want that, do you?
Exactly. So, and just know that we all have our red flags. Okay, you want to use that terminology. We all have our red flags. We all have our issues. We all have our luggage, right? I always like that terminology. Someone said that metaphor one time. We all bring a bag with us, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Whatever, we all have our bag. Don't say baggage, just your luggage. Yeah. You brought your experience with you, and they're going to bring their experience with them, right? Talking about relationship. Guess what? You go into the next person, they're going to have a bag. They might have more bags than the other person. And guess what? You also have to learn how to deal with that. And that's the thing. Like, some people, we're a generation right now that's ready to run. Yeah. Fight or flight, we're ready to fight. Yeah. As soon as something goes south. Yeah. As soon as, he didn't put the sheets on the right way. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, something simple, but I mean, like, I'm being serious. Like, you guys had an argument. Oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, I can't argue with him about this. Well, what do you think's going on with you? He has to deal with all you too, and I have to deal with all of him, right? But the beautiful part is that we are messes in our masterpiece, right? You're gonna have to deal with someone's luggage, and they're gonna have to deal with your luggage. Y'all need to go together and travel, okay? Just go together and explore, because there's just I'm so tired of watching people be like, oh, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, everything is hard. Everything is tiring. Like, healthy relationships are not easy. And healthy relationships are not easy after you have been in toxic mindsets and toxic things. After you've been in self-sabotage. Healthy relationships are not easy. So if you want one, know that it's not easy. If you want a marriage later on in life, it's not easy. All those things are not easy. So the responsibility of being a Proverbs 30 woman, the responsibility of being a woman of gentle and calm spirit, the responsibility of being a woman who has a sound mind, the responsibility of renewing our minds every day, the responsibility. Yeah. It's a responsibility to Proverbs 31 woman. So if you don't want responsibility, what do you want, right? How do you want to be a Proverbs 31 woman? Because there's responsibility written all over this. Yeah. Discipline is responsibility, right? Providing is responsibility.
That's good. That really is good. I've never dissected that chapter like that before. Yeah. That felt really nice.
Yeah, that was like, we just had a whole little Bible study.
Yeah, we didn't mean for it to, but I like it. I really did like it. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, just to close everything out, just like, I don't know, I just me personally, like, I just want to walk into 2024 with more of a Proverbs 31 woman mindset. Yeah. And I feel like it's, I want to meet more people like that as well, because we could, I mean, I don't know, it just seems like a good place to be, and who wouldn't want a good place to be?
That's so good. Yeah. And think like you said, the discipline, like a Proverbs 31 woman, this is my last thoughts on it, is they're a fighter. Yeah. Not a fighter in that, oh, I gotta fight, I'm tired. But a fighter in the fact of like, I have a strength within me that surpasses understanding. I'm more than a conqueror. I was given power, love, and self-discipline. I was given all those things and granted, and I'm a host of all those things, right? Yeah. And it's like, if I get to fight these spiritual warfares, help people fight their battles through the spirit that lives within me, and I just get to be a vessel for it, like, let's realize that we're warriors, right? Like, put your armor on and let's fight. Like, let's fight against the things that seem simplistic and that are against, not even against us, but that are honestly there for us to grow. Yeah. Like, let's fight with it. So, like, you got to fight against the grain. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just be in there and put in the work.
Yeah.
And let's put in the work, like, spiritually, so that we're not fighting tiredly with our flesh, because we're going to get tired.
For sure.
Let's stop being tired with our flesh, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just be rejuvenated with our spirit and let ourselves be weak so that God can be strong.
Yeah. I like that.
You know?
Woohoo.
Let's fight.
Yeah.
Brown City women.
Well, I think that's basically it, though.
Yeah.
We've been talking for a minute, but I really do love you so much, and I thank you so much for coming on this podcast, for real.
Thank you so much.
I really do, and I really hope y'all enjoyed our conversation. Yes. And yeah, I can't wait to see what this year is going to be like. And I'm ready just to create and be productive, be disciplined, be patient, and be clothed in strength and dignity and honor. Yes. And I love that. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? Or?
I just want to say thank you so much for letting me be here.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm just so proud of you, and just can't wait to see what God has for you this year. Yeah. And all this space. Like, when you hold space for God, He does miraculous things. When you let Him. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So I just can't wait to see all these things come into fruition.
Mm. Well, guys, that is it for today. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Both of our informations will be in the bio. And other than that, I'll see y'all next week or week after next. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.